All right, welcome everybody. Good afternoon. Great to see you all, and at a beautiful new location. So obviously, BCIT Tech Collider, we've got a great partnership that we've kicked off here, and we've got to use their space, Tech Collider, beautiful tech. So we're really lucky and happy for you all to be here for our first event here. I'm Aaron, this is Lindsay. As you all probably know, if you don't already, we've been running VANTEC for about a year now, or taking over the operations. And so if you have any questions, feedback, thoughts, we'd love to hear it. So come and talk to us afterwards. We're going to dive in. We've got some great presentations today. I'm going to get into some community announcements and all of that first. But first, I just want to acknowledge that it is with gratitude and respect that we acknowledge that we're gathered here today on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We have some great sponsors. I mentioned BCIT is one of our new ones that we've partnered with. We also have all of these great partners and sponsors that we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing today without them. We, as I mentioned, want to bring up Kenton Lowe of BCIT, the Dean of Business. If you want to come up and say a few words. I will say, I'll just kick things off, that I really like this partnership because we're working with a group, a student-led group called Enactus, and I really believe in instilling entrepreneurship as early as possible. I went to UVic in the entrepreneurship school out there, and so learning about entrepreneurship as early as possible, I think, is really important. And I love what they're doing at Enactus, and we're looking to do a lot of work with them and have you join. There's got a number of people that are volunteering here today from BCIT. You'll see them with the little pins on today, so do have a chat with them. But yeah, they do competitions. We're looking to support in any way that we possibly can, maybe even have them come and do a presentation in front of you at some point. But yeah, I'm really excited. Kenton?
Thanks very much. So welcome everybody to BCIT's Tech Collider. Who's actually here for the very first time at the Tech Collider? Yeah, so this didn't look like this. So we're very excited by the facility that we have here and hosting events like tonight's event. This area has been created specifically for industry. Come on in for various gatherings, very similar to like this. This is also a gathering space during the daytime. So they come here, they talk about their projects, new ideas that are hatching here. They have a chance right next door here is the Media Works Lab, where they can go in there. We've got 3D printers and other types of equipment that they can make use of. And entrepreneurship, as Aaron said, it's a big deal at our school. That's why we're so excited about this partnership with VANTEC, and then with our own club here, Enactus, in our program leader, our club leader, Armand, you're over there. Wave to everybody. And then where's Ethan? Here you are. Yeah, so delighted to have our club participate in this as well too, because entrepreneurship is really important at BCIT. In our School of Business and Media, we have a program specifically for entrepreneurs that have ideas, and we need more of this in Vancouver. We need more of this in British Columbia, where ideas have an opportunity to be developed and nurtured into successful businesses. So we are very thankful to be partnering with VANTEC on this, and thank you to the investors that are here tonight, because I'm told, I haven't seen them, I'm looking forward to them, some really exciting pitches tonight to look forward to. So again, welcome to BCIT. Let's take it from there.
Thank you so much, Kenton. All right. So we also have a great partner in Keiretsu, and they are sort of I almost think of them as a big brother, big sibling to VANTEC, sort of the next step. They consider themselves sort of the pre-Series A, so the C plus Series A businesses. So a lot of companies that come through VANTEC will eventually see the stage at Keiretsu as well. So really great partners, and if you're looking to learn more from the due diligence standpoint, you're an investor, they have a really great due diligence program that brings a lot of different minds together to collaborate on that for the different companies that come through their program. We have, we're running through these here, all good. So we're doing a new segment here. I'm going to pass over to Lindsay, where we want to introduce members of our community and just get to know one another, whether you're new or have been here for a long time. We really just want to get to know one another. We're looking to do this as many or as few people as we can each month. So if you are interested, we'd love to do that. We may call upon you every once in a while as well. I believe we're just going to introduce one person who has been a VANTEC member for a little while. So I'll hand over to you, Lindsay, to introduce Walter.
Okay, Walter, in the hot seat.
Thank you, everybody can hear. I'm Walter Wardrop, professional engineer, been in this trade for a long time. Most of you know I used to do the job IRAP before I did retire. And as I said, doing the IRAP, I think I did visit about 1,600 companies in 18 years. And the key to that is IRAP is basically, I was an angel investor for the federal government. Thought I got pretty smart doing that, so when I retired, I borrowed a bit of money from the mortgage and did some investments and found out I'm not nearly as smart as I thought I was. But we learned that, so I finally got a little bit smarter, and Zell and Mike went and twisted my arm at different times and got me to invest in E-Fund and whatever. I think that I find is a very good starting point. You know, if you don't have expertise in the subject, I've pulled back. I invested a couple of software companies over the years and other stuff like that and realized I don't know anything about software. What am I doing investing in those things? And so now I find it's much better to be working with a team and doing due diligence through these other groups. Some of my investments have done well, and I concentrate more on hardware. You know, as soon as I saw those solar cells back there today, I had to go over and have a look at them. I can hit it with a hammer. So that's just a bit on the background. But as I said, at this point, I've probably been doing an angel investing since the year 2000 or so, and just across a range of subjects and all that time. So, anybody have any questions afterwards? Please come and say hi. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So next event, I'm going to follow on more people. So.
And I think Walter's offering to answer questions, definitely take him up on that if you are a new investor getting into this. I personally have found that the only way I have learned anything about angel investing is through having mentors, asking questions, and learning from those that have been doing it for a long time. So I definitely encourage you, if you are new to the space or interested in the space, to seek out people like Walter and have a conversation. So thank you so much, Walter. All right. Next, we'll get into the VANTEC membership. So if you are here as a guest or you're here for the first time, you're interested in becoming an angel investor, I would love to speak to you. I'd love to have a call and just chat about what we do here, what we're trying to accomplish, and all of the great fun things that comes with being an angel investor. With the VANTEC membership, we do run events 11 times a year, and we do take next month off. So August is our summer vacation. We have over 100 pre-vetted companies that come through and pitch every year. Get to connect with other angel investors, build your network, and also promote your programs, your events. If you have anything going on you want to let the rest of the community know about, definitely take that opportunity here. And then the last thing I added is we have Summer Social that is happening next week, and we always give early access to our VANTEC members. And so if you haven't signed up, our guest list is almost full now, so definitely get your ticket in if you're interested. It's shaping up, I don't want to jinx it, but to be great weather next week, and we're doing it on the rooftop of the staff building there, so it should be a really amazing event. We have some community announcements we want to let everybody know about. First is NVBC Focus. The New Ventures VC competition is underway right now. They are in the top 26. I believe it's at a top 25. They had a tie. We have a golf tournament coming up on July 22nd for that. And then during the demo day on September 4th, which is an opportunity to meet the top 10 or learn the top 10 who have made it through for the first time there. Mike, did you want to say a few words? Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a couple of words. Last night, I know some of you in the room here were at the New Ventures networking event where the top 26 finalists were present. Now, on September the 4th, we're going to have a special demo day where those 26 companies are going to be present, and we're going to announce the top 10. Now, last year, we tried something new. For the first time, we sold tickets to that event to you guys, to investors. The price wasn't cheap. It was $1,000 to attend. So it's not your $50 or $100, but it was $1,000. And the reason for that was that that money was essentially a donation to New Ventures BC. And then New Ventures BC took that money and invested it in the winning company. The idea being that that money will multiply, if all goes well, over time, and ultimately NVBC will get a nice big payout. And that will help ensure its longevity well into the future. So we're doing it again this year, but we're selling the tickets this time for just $500. So it's a real bargain. And what you get for that, of course, is a front row seat. You get to mingle with the top 26 and, of course, the winners. And you have an opportunity to co-invest alongside with new ventures. We did explore some options last year, like some special purpose vehicles and things like that, where all of the participants or all of the attendees could participate in the growth of the company that we invest in. But legally and technically, that's a bit complicated. So we're trying to see how we can give you at least early access and an opportunity to co-invest in those winning companies. So if you're interested in learning more about that demo day, just come and see me afterwards, and I'll tell you a little bit more, and I can twist your arm a little bit harder than I'm doing right now. And hopefully we'll see you on September the 4th. Should be a great, fun event. Thanks, Aaron.
Of course, thank you so much. And that does bring up a good point, because usually we do the VANTEC events on the first Wednesday of every month. So with the NVVC demo day being on September 4th, our September event is going to be the week later on September 11th. I'll give you a reminder of that afterwards. Another community announcement is that we have the Keiretsu Forum Investment Summit live in Vancouver happening on July 30th, 12 p.m. So definitely check that out. You can find all the information on their website there. Always proves to be a great event, I believe. They've usually done it at the Vancouver Club. Yes, they're doing it at the Vancouver Club this time as well. So lastly, last announcement I want to do is for our Startup Visa program. Jackson, did you want to say a few words here?
So VANTEC has a startup visa. We actually have our event, a preview event, which is going to be over Zoom. It'll be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you are a VANTEC member, you will receive an invitation shortly after the main event today is ended. You just need to register, and you can get access to the latest and greatest companies that our VANTEC members have brought to, are intending to bring into the VC ecosystem here, and go on the ground floor and see, the newest ventures coming in. Hopefully one day, maybe you join them in the syndication and get the benefits of these great companies. They're very innovative, and there's always something new and surprising when these events, when these companies present at the event. So I look forward to see everyone there. Again, if you want to sign up, you can go to www.vantec.ca/events and look up the preview event, which is for tomorrow, July 4th, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I must say, it is a very exciting thing to see what other countries around the world are producing in innovation, and so definitely see some great presentations there. And we're starting to see some of those companies come and present at VANTEC as well, which is the goal. All right, last thing to mention here, just as far as rules of engagement go, we do want all of our members to be wearing your investor hats. Obviously, those conversations can evolve into services and opportunities for you both to work together outside of investment, but our entrepreneurs are here today looking for capital, wanting to raise money, so let's do that. Let's get some checks written, some rounds funded, and hear for some really exciting companies. So we have our company feedback sheets. We have the paper copies. We also have the one online here you can use to provide feedback and interest. If you do say that you're interested in the company, we will make that introduction. We'll pass that information along to the companies on your behalf. And the feedback, if you just add feedback and you don't give any interest, we won't give your contact information, but the feedback is always extremely helpful for these entrepreneurs, these founders. So we have 3 90-second presentations today, and then we have 5 5-minute presentations. So a few less than we often see at VANTEC, but these are really high-quality businesses today, so I'm excited to introduce you to them. So without further ado, I'll introduce Stephen of Breathe Global to take it away.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Steve Bull. I'm the CEO of Breathe Global, and we're an engineering and design company that developed the Venti as a wearable iron lung. 1/3 of the world's population will need breathing support sometime in their lives. The mask is the problem. Along with the claustrophobia, its gale force winds blow down the nose, causing bloody sores, dryness, congestion, eye irritation, gastric distress, and can lead to pneumonia. Maskless Venti will be worn by our first patient this month. The Venti consists of a chest shield in a harness, and an onboard motor and motor controller for the use at home and in hospital. It is covered by Medicare. ALS patients are among the most desperate of the 26 million North Americans who need respiratory care, and they have only 2 years to live after their diagnosis and requiring breathing support. The all-in-one Venti is priced less than the competition while being mobile, low maintenance, and easy to use and more comfortable. The serviceable, addressable, obtainable market represents 15% of the ALS patients. Once proven on the ALS patients, the Venti can then be used in a huge number of COPD patients. The IP Institute of Canada, the IP Institute of Canada is funding our patent strategy. We will also develop an IoT device for remote monitoring that opens up a new set of billable codes and data capture. Our team has exited projects valued at $250 million and represents ventilation technology, human respiratory physiology, and hardware development. We offer favorable terms on the required $500,000 invested in 2024. As an EBC eligible company, we provide a tax and credit possibility for investors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Amazing. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Narinda of BlossomEV. If you'd like to make your way up to the stage here.
Just want to introduce myself. I'm Narinda Guman, CTO of BlossomEV. Also a current BCIT student, finally working on finishing my Bachelor of Technology. And in TMG T7173 is where Blossom was born. This number here, 789,000, is 3% of all registered vehicles since 2022 that are electric. The way that electric vehicles are charged now, it's causing range anxiety. It's making folks almost like indoor cats. They don't want to leave their communities because they're worried that they're going to get stuck somewhere and they're not going to be able to charge their vehicles. So a new way of charging is required. We provide peace of mind, increased accessibility, and ensuring availability. You don't have to come to a charger and find out that it's damaged or someone else parked their big truck there sideways and now you can't charge your EV. This is the team, our CEO, Kevin Brett, myself, and the rest of the support team. We have over 25 years of knowledge in actually telecommunication, infrastructure development and deployment. So we're applying that to our EV deployment, EV charger technology deployment. We're currently at stage TRL7. What we're doing is growing our user base, our partnerships, and media attention. We launched fully charged last August, and since then we've acquired 100 customers and steady growth, and we've been in talks with key partnerships. Our ask is non-financial, is the industry connections, mentorship, and business support. Financial is $500,000. And with that, we're looking for a lead to help set up valuation, investment firms. Milestones that we're looking to attain are upgrade our mobile app development, customer acquisition, and 18 months of runway. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Narinda. Great job. All right. Next up, I'd like to introduce Jason of KAIHIVE. Jason, I'll hand over to you.
All right, my name is Jason. I'm the founder of KAIHIVE. We're a software solution that simplifies dealerships' private inventory sourcing. Now, what if I tell you that dealership has been failing through their most profitable channel, which is buying vehicles directly from private sellers. On average, dealerships source less than 10% of their inventory from their private channels. You might wonder why they're failing. This seems to be straightforward, but it turned out that dealerships buying team, on average, visit and review over 15 listings to find one quality leads just to reach out to them. KAIHIVE Copilot solves this. We remove over 90% of unqualified listings across these online platforms using our AI filters. It creates a centralized hub for seller communications. It also learns dealerships' buying behaviors to provide them top recommendation for inventory sourcing. With this help, dealerships are able to buy 2 times more inventory from their most profitable source, which is directly from customers. Now, we launched our MVP just in May. We have accumulated almost 200 hours of user time. across 5 different dealerships in Vancouver. Now, as an early stage top sales and store manager from Tesla, combined with my CTO's over 15 years of software lead and data engineering experience, we're confident to bring KAIHIVE to 300,000 ARR by Q2 next year. We're looking to raise a pre-seed round, mainly to help us folks accelerate the development of our web application and to launch it. We're also looking to grow our team to help develop our full sales motion for KAIHIVE. Come talk to me afterwards if you're interested in SaaS and the automotive industry. Thank you.
Great job, Jason. All right, those were our 90-second presenters. As you can tell, very quick fire. You get a little bit of a teaser just to wet your whistle so that you can talk to them afterwards in the networking. All right, we're going to move on to our 5-minute presentations here. If we can pull up the presentation for Skyward Wildfire Technologies, and I'll introduce Mike to tell us a bit more. Mike, hand it over to you.
So I'm Mike Sherman, I'm COO of Skyward, and our goal is preventing lightning wildfires. Wildfires are a multi-billion-dollar problem that is accelerating rapidly, has enormous scale. Globally, tens of millions of hectares are burnt every year. In Canada alone, last year, 18.5 million hectares were burned. We emitted 2.5 gigatons of CO2, which is equivalent to 3 times the entire Canadian economy, 5 times the global airline industry, and about 85% of the emissions of India. The costs are massive as well. The US estimates on an annual basis it's between $400 and $900 billion a year are the costs from wildfires. In California alone, it's about $120 billion. And BC and Alberta each just on fire suppression spent $1 billion each last year. And it's climate fueled, so this is a situation that is increasingly dire and continuing to grow. 2023 was our last year, and the boreal forest, which Canada has a majority of, is warming at 2 times the rate of the rest of the world. And lightning is the largest driver of wildfires. So in Canada, lightning causes 59% of wildfires, but it actually leads to 93% of the forest that's burnt. It's a growing problem because lightning emission is 40 to 60% more likely for 1 degree of warming. What can we do about it? Skyward is a climate solution that will prevent lightning where needed from starting catastrophic wildfires. We're the world's first lightning suppression company. Our goal is protecting communities, businesses, critical infrastructure, and land from fire, with the opportunity to save 5% of global emissions. A large ambition, but it's matching the scale of the problem we're addressing to solve. We can target high-risk areas and prevent lightning strikes. Lightning is caused by charge buildup in clouds. Cloud-to-ground lightning strikes happen when electric field surpasses a threshold. We can manage the electric field below that threshold, it suppresses the lightning, and we deploy small quantities of safe, non-toxic, government-approved and inert fibers into clouds to discharge storms. This idea has been around for a while. It was demonstrated by NOAA and US Army about 50 years ago, and there has been continued scientific work that's been done on it, but we will be applying modern data science, unmanned aerial vehicles, material science, and sensors to this established field science. It's been validated over the past decades. Our technology consists of sighting systems. Where is it optimal to be able to place deployment areas in order to have maximum efficacy and coverage? Targeting systems, which clouds to target, where and when to target them. Delivery systems, which are modifications to the drones themselves, which include sensor modifications and an ability to be able to go to higher altitudes to be able to intercept the cloud targets that we have, and then material dispersal systems. Our first customer is Alberta Wildfire Services. They've approved field testing, which is just commencing right now, and will go through the summer, which is the largest lightning and wildfire season, obviously. We're working in close collaboration with their teams, both their meteorologists and field ops teams. Our goal is to demonstrate the proof of concept in all the different technology areas, as well as proving the efficacy of lightning suppression. We'll also, with that data, be able to quantify the impact on wildfire budgets and the value that we create in terms of the protection provided, and confirm what we think will be a high gross margin business. Our goal is to secure Alberta commitment for 2025 commercial deployment, and we've been talking to wildfire services in many other provinces and states that are looking to the results out of Alberta to determine whether they would deploy with us next year. We've built a team that has the business experience, technical experience, history, connections in order to be able to make this business a reality. Sam Goldman, my co-founder and CEO, built a company, D-Light, to multi-hundreds of millions of dollars in sales and a global enterprise. I myself have been investing in climate technologies as an angel investor in VC for over 20 years with multiple exits. Most recently, GaN Systems, which is a power semiconductor company out of Ottawa, was acquired by Infineon for $1 billion. And I also ran a software company for 5 years. In addition to that, we're building a team of technologists, operations people, meteorologists, and deploymenters. Our budget for the next year is $2 million. We're looking to fund about half of that with equity and half with non-dilutive sources, including SHRED and other grants that we're in the process of applying for, as well as some revenue through Alberta Wildfire Services. And that $1 million in equity, we have $750,000 committed, so we have another $250,000 open. It's a safe with 20% discount and a $10 million cap. It is EBC eligible, and with those funds, our goals are to demonstrate the proof of concept, as I discussed, secure those commercial customer commitments for 2025, expand our IP coverage, apply the data that we get from all of our field testing to improve our machine learning and data models, build out our team, and secure our Series A funds. And that's it. Feel free to reach out to me at the contact.
And definitely chat afterwards. But I do want to get into some Q&A here before I let you off the stage here. And so Bailey is at the back, and we'll run around with a microphone if you do have questions. So please raise your hand. But yeah, why don't we start with the audience? And so Sean, why don't you kick us off here?
I have to ask, when everybody says they're a serial entrepreneur and they made $1 billion company, how much did your investors get out of that?
It ended up returning most of that fund, actually. So we got about $120 million out of that to our investors. I led it from the beginning, idea stage with 2 people in the lab. I was on the board for 7 years. I left that fund, so I don't have the exact multiples in terms of their later investments, but it was absolutely north of a 10x, and it was around 8 years.
Hi, Mike. What are the particles that you disperse into the clouds? Is it a metallic type of fiber, and how is it reclaimed after it's been dispersed?
Yeah, it's actually radio frequency chaff. So the military uses that for countermeasures, and there's about 500,000 pounds or kilograms of it that are used in training exercises across North America every year. It's been extensively studied, and it's essentially a glass fiber with a very thin aluminum coating, and that's what allows for the charge dissipation. So we could protect all of North America from lightning for 100 years with the amount of chaff the U.S. military dispenses in 1 year. It's inert. It falls to the ground eventually. And like I said, it's inert. It's just glass with aluminum, so essentially it's the same components as Earth.
A couple of questions. This way, you didn't talk about a competition. And secondly, you didn't mention an exit strategy.
Yeah, from a competition perspective, there's been very little work that's been done on actually stopping wildfires from being ignited. There's nobody else that's working on this. We're the first company that we're aware of to be attempting this since the studies in the 70s. Most of the investment has been on after a fire starts being able to detect and suppress it more quickly. In terms of an exit strategy, our goal is to be a commercial services business focused highly on technology. There are a lot of different potential acquirers there. At this point, we're really focused on this leg of the race to prove that it works, and then grow and scale it, and then we'll think about how we can exit it when that wonderful time comes.
So I have a couple of questions as well that I'd like to ask, and obviously if you have, do put your hands up and Bailey will come and find you. But you talked a little bit about being the first, and I'm curious how when people see this and see you succeed and they're going to be jumping on and trying to do this themselves, how are you going to stay ahead of the competition and build a moat around this business?
So we have an initial provisional patent around our systems, which was done in February of last year. And we're filing significant extensions on that. While the core concept of putting chaff into a thunderstorm is not patentable, all of the operational implementation of it in a modern sense, making it scalable, the technologies we're using, and then the operating system of being able to optimize all of it to use the least amount of chaff possible and have the highest efficacy. There's quite a bit of IP around that. So.
Great. And my last question is, you talked about how much is being spent on wildfires and how, I mean, this is how in Canada and America, I think it was $1 billion budget or something for Canada last year, or at least $500 million. When we talk about the financial potential of this business, you're obviously solving a huge problem, potentially saving hundreds of millions of dollars for the government. What does the financial outlook for this business look like? I know you're figuring that all out, but do you have a sort of estimate or gauge on that?
So the budgets are huge. They spent $1 billion last year and $1 billion this year just in BC, same in Alberta. They spend about $5 billion a year in California. Every one of these states and provinces, and also globally, has very large budgets for this. We think we can potentially stop the ignition of 60% of wildfires and prevent 90% of the land that ends up being burnt by those. The question will end up being how much we can price the value. For existing contracts with groups like Con Air that do water bomber services, these are multi-tens of millions of dollars per province contracts that are exclusive to a very small number of suppliers. And so at minimum, there's ability to get contracts like that, service contracts worth tens of millions of dollars. We're very successful and we demonstrate that we can take that or that $1 billion budget and lower it down to $250 million. And we'll see what pricing ends up looking like. But a lot of the data that we're going to get from here is, and our algorithms and data sciences to show exactly what it will cost for us, from a cost standpoint, to be able to protect a given area and demonstrate the efficacy of our deployment.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, last question possibly. How do you geographically scale this? Because you're basically chasing lightning. Give us the story of how that happens. Where do you start? How do you expand it? Where is reasonable coverage look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, we're really focused on wildfires. And so areas where there's high lightning ignition of wildfires, which is basically the entire West Coast. We have a lot of, in North America, we have a lot of interest coming from Alaska as well. The reason that they burn so much area is because these are areas where a lot of the ignitions end up being remote. It's impossible for them to get in with first attacks. And that's where we end up getting mega wildfires from because they very quickly become unmanageable. So places that have that problem are good customers for us. That's why Alberta Wildfire is so interested. Just this last week, around Fort McMurray, they had a storm front come in, a ton of ignitions, and their teams are going crazy in order to be able to address this. They very much want us to be commercial so that we can lower that burden for them and reduce that. So I would say, first of all, kind of West Coast of North America, and then going from there. But it's really looking at the areas where we have the highest value in terms of the biggest problems that we're preventing.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was fantastic. So a problem. Oh, sorry, there was one last question, Mike. We want to get to this. Sorry, I missed that.
No problem. Just have one quick question. You talked about your commercial model.
Oh, yes.
That's okay. So who exactly is your customer and how sticky are you? Because assumingly this doesn't end, right? So how do you plan on that stickiness for your business ongoing? And maybe there's a partnership to be had with these folks since they're so desperate to address the problem, both in the innovation roadmap and on funding. So that's kind of around the commercial model. And seems like your target is mostly North America, but I know that there's a lot of wildfires also in Europe. Do you have a plan to expand in other regions?
Absolutely, and my co-founder built a global business who's very much focused on Africa as well, and so we definitely have a global mindset, but I'm also very pragmatic in solving things locally first and getting them right so that you have the ability to be able to scale effectively. Just blanking on the order of questions.
Your commercial statement.
Yes.
How do you figure?
Yeah, so there's a couple things around that. One thing that I should say as well is our goal is in working in partnership with all of the different solutions that are out there, right? So for instance, I just did a huge report with the Canadian Centre of Innovation in Climate and Energy, the BC Centre for Innovation in Climate and Energy, that was on carbon removal technologies. And one of the things that we really need to do are things like prescribed burning in order to be able to reduce fuel loads, et cetera. Right now, all those things are so tiny and it's such a vast area that we need to do that we really need to buy time for these other things that we don't see to be competitive to us, but we see ourselves being quite enabling. But there isn't going to be enough time to do that without some kind of solution to stop the rapid fire emissions that are happening. In terms of stickiness, if we're an effective solution, it's going to be very difficult to not have it. It's sort of like not having the fire department anymore, not having anything that you rely on for your protection. And as we've seen from like huge communities like Kelowna and others, and I could list them forever, the risk of not having that protection is massive in terms of both nature, human life, industry, all the rest. And so, yeah, my goal is in proving that it can work, and I'm pretty confident that we won't have a difficulty in terms of demand if we can prove that.
A problem that certainly hits very close to home, and we've seen a lot of companies come through and be looking to solve the problem of wildfires in some way, but I really like the proactive approach that they're taking, so I hope that you can prove that this works, and do well for our community, for BC, for Canada. All over the world is having this problem become worse and worse every year. All right, next up we have ZEVA Global, so I'd like to bring Raymond up to the front here to introduce us to ZEVA and tell us what you're working on, so hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here at VANTEC. My name is Raymond Reed. I am the founder and CEO of ZEVA Global. ZEVA Global is a cloud-based telematics software company for electric vehicles. I'm going to bring something really familiar to those of you in Vancouver who may know me by another name. In 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, I co-founded a company called ZeroCar. First exclusively car rental, car share service in North America, featuring Tesla vehicles. You may have seen them in and around, parked on the streets of Vancouver during and following the pandemic, which was a great experience for us. But through that experience, we had a fleet of 74 electric vehicles in our fleet. Through that experience, we learned firsthand challenges and the cost of managing a fleet of electric vehicles utilizing traditional telematics, hardware, and software. From that experience, we came away with a couple of key learnings. First, traditional telematics, which are essentially analytics for electric vehicles that needs to be plugged into your OBD board, are costly, inefficient, and timely in terms of the amount of time it takes to be able to implement them. We experienced this firsthand throughout our fleet of 74 vehicles. In 2022, we started a software development platform called ZEVA, specifically designed to support electric vehicle fleets as well as consumers. That was both hardware-free, cost-efficient, and specifically designed for electric vehicles. This allowed us to be able to support customers like Jim Pattison that we have today, as well as individual consumers who own electric vehicles, to be able to gain the information they need to better manage their battery optimization, charge management, and various aspects of their electric vehicles. What makes us different? With the first-hand experience, we lived the trials and tribulations of managing an electric vehicle. We had the competitive edge to be able to understand what traditional telematics companies used, costs associated with them, but also how to evolve those products in a world in which we didn't need hardware anymore. We are an approved Tesla third-party app developer, one of the very first two in North America, but our roadmap is built to be able to go multi-OEM beyond Tesla, work with Ford, GM, Kia, etc., as they bring electric vehicles onto the market that have an API connection. Tesla's account for 80% of electric vehicles within the global car rental market. We have an overall customer base on a global basis for around 700 fleets that we are already in discussions with and in contact with throughout the world. Tesla's also account for 56% of all consumer electric vehicles today in the market, and we expect that to continue to grow over the next several years. Targeting both consumer and commercial fleets. Sorry, thank you. Targeting both consumer and commercial fleets. We charge $10 per vehicle on a per month basis on a SaaS subscription model to be able to scale to the audience that we have. Where we started was in 2022, but today, after 2.5 years of software development and bootstrapping to the tune of $1.5 million, we launched in May of 2024, and we already have several thousand consumer vehicles on our platform, as well as customers, as I mentioned before, such as Jim Pattison in Canada, Share EV in Australia, and others throughout the US. We will be going into Europe in September, October of this year as well. From a trajectory perspective, our goal over the next 12 months is to target 20,000 vehicles on our platform. Currently, there is a market of around 5 million customers, just Teslas alone. But as we go multi-OEM, we start to see that trajectory scale significantly. Our funding utilization, we have pre-money valuations approximately $5 million. We are seeking to raise $2 million to expand into new markets, to onboard non-Tesla OEMs, continue developing our product, as well as to expand and grow our sales and marketing efforts. Our team has been together for over 8 years through various startups. I currently own an advertising agency, a software analytics company, as well as ZeroCar. And so we've had a tremendous amount of experience working together over these last 8 years. And I'm very pleased to have our COO, Cindy Pack, join us today. That's our story, and we look forward to having you join us on this journey. Thank you so much.
I'll get you to stick around for some Q&A here. So I see some food arriving here. From there, we'll focus on ZEVA, which is really exciting, and I love the traction that you've got so far. So congratulations on that. You mentioned that you recently brought Jim Pattison on as a customer, and I'm curious if you could just elaborate a little bit on that engagement, how that came about, what that looks like for the future of ZEVA.
So we're very happy to have Jim Pattison as an early customer. Jim Pattison is, of course, the largest fleet leasing company in Canada, and also for Teslas. They spend a tremendous amount of money managing vendor relationships with various hardware and software providers. They saw us as an opportunity to help reduce their costs, starting with their Tesla fleets, but also moving to other OEMs for GM and Kia vehicles. Jim Pattison has expressed an interest in investing in us at a later round, specifically so that we don't get bought by a competitor.
Any questions from the audience here? I see one at the back there, Bailey.
So why would the car owner care? Can you give a before and after comparison?
Thank you. That's a great question. For those of you who own a Tesla or an electric vehicle, 40% of the cost of your vehicle is the battery. Thereby, the number one thing that you want to understand how to optimize and how to prolong that longevity is the battery. Our platform, both our app as well as our desktop platform, allows you to gain information on what the optimal charge level is and driving behavior is to prolong the value of your vehicle. The OEMs, even Tesla, does not provide this information to you. We are able to tap directly into the data pipe, going back to Tesla, extract that information based on your behavior, and build thresholds for for you to be able to manage your charging, your driving behavior, and your battery optimization to prolong the value of your vehicle. So when 40% of the cost is the battery, it's the number one thing you want to be able to understand. We provide that information above and beyond what the OEMs provide you.
So you're supporting Tesla today. Presumably you have an ambition to support other EVs, and probably there are technical challenges with each manufacturer. Could you talk to that?
Yes, actually the technical challenges have largely been solved. The biggest challenge is that they need to make vehicles people want. We connect to these platforms via an API. And since most electric vehicles coming onto the market have a persistent internet connection, we piggyback on that persistent internet connection with an API that they enable. So we are able to get access directly into the vehicles. So recently we gained access to Ford, visibility to Ford data. So we can see everything that comes from the Mach-E, everything that comes from the F1 Lightning, including braking, acceleration, battery levels, everything to pull to bring that into our platform.
We got a question up at the front here. Bailey's coming to you there.
Again, exit strategy.
Sorry, I did miss that. My apologies. I did miss that. I was intending to speak to that. We are confident that we will see a successful acquisition within 3 years. Very much likely to companies like Jim Pattison or those within the ecosystem that have the most to benefit from this type of platform.
Why doesn't Tesla just acquire it?
We have been asked that question many times. Tesla created the opportunity by not building a fleet management system. Companies like Hertz, Autonomy in the US, we've all talked to them. They all want this. Tesla could have built this. They chose not to. There is a strong belief that Tesla also may be a potential acquirer of our platform.
And is the pricing the same for the individual Tesla owner as it would be for the fleets?
Correct. It is $9.99 per user as an individual, and it's $10 flat rate for each vehicle on a fleet. A fleet can have anywhere from 200 to 2,000 vehicles. In Europe, we have fleets with 5,000 Teslas that they use as taxis.
And what are the estimated cost savings for the user paying $120 a year for this?
From a fleet perspective, 92%. So the traditional telematics cost up to $120 plus per month or per vehicle. Our cost is $10 a month with no hardware, no software installation whatsoever. So for Jim Pattison, Share EV, et cetera, they see the immediate cost savings. We're also working with insurance companies. Insurance companies see the ability to work with and give usage-based programs to their drivers. Sign up to ZEVA, we'll cover the cost, but we have access to all your data 24/7. So they can manage the premiums of those drivers. So we have insurance companies in Australia, in Canada, that are also on board with us.
All right, I don't see any other questions, but definitely do chat with Raymond afterwards. Thank you so much. Great job. All right. All right, next up, I would like to introduce Nikita from AVO.
Hello, we are a crypto company. Gotta hold this. Welcome everybody, we are Opto. What we enable you to do is we enable you to copy the trades of crypto insiders. So, everybody wants in on crypto. What does this mean? It means that among the younger audience, about 80% of millennial millionaires, for example, own crypto, and Gen Z are more likely to own crypto than they are stocks. But getting started is very difficult. Cryptos are confusing. Most people don't know what to buy other than maybe Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum. But there are hundreds of thousands of projects out there. Scams and bug pulls are absolutely lived through, and it's difficult to identify them, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And people, frankly, have no time, and really they don't want to learn who to buy and what to trust, what to buy and who to trust. But crypto insiders do. So crypto insiders know what to buy. What does this mean? It means these are people, some of whom are celebrities like people. If you are at all in the crypto community, you would know who that is. He's a famous NFT artist, made millions off of NFT projects. But it doesn't have to be. It can be anybody who's on various boards. Really, it doesn't matter. But there are people in crypto who know what to buy, and as you can see, have consistent year-over-year returns through diversified portfolios or sitting on boards of tokens. They just know what they're doing. So what do? Well, we have a platform to let you copy the trades of crypto insiders. How does it work? It's automated. Trades are done on the user's behalf. If you're familiar with copy trading in equities, it's the same kind of principle where you put in $100 and your $100 gets reallocated to whatever the portfolio of the person you're copying is. It has very high returns. This is inherent in crypto, and it's why people want to invest in crypto. And what we make sure is that we show you what your year-over-year returns have been and what you can invest in. And it's social, because people want a social platform. That's what we found through A/B testing. You're able to trade alongside other users. You're able to see what other users are doing. And because it's crypto, it's all public on the blockchain. So this is a $1.4 trillion in equities, and we are bringing it to crypto. Matter of fact, like the platforms like eToro, they're one of the biggest. They have over $1 billion in revenue, I think, in 2021, and they essentially do the same thing, except it's in equities. And we are bringing this market to crypto because it does not exist in again. It's a wonderful opportunity. Here's the market for crypto. It's 2.75 billion. This is our total addressable market, retail traders worldwide. There are about 580 million retail traders in crypto right now. Who are we targeting? It's that number on the left there. It's 11.6 million. Those are the traders on the specific blockchain that we're starting with, Ethereum, who have between $100 and $1 million in their wallets. So they're active. They're not just like passive people. That's what we're targeting with Avo, and with that, that's about 4% of the crypto trading market, so that 580 million. With that, we have about $194 in fees. I can explain the fee structure down the line, but that comes up to about a 2.3 billion annual recurring revenue for us. And we're doing things that don't scale. What does this mean? Well, we have a white glove onboarding approach. We launched actually just for Discord bots, and we are onboarding our users manually, figuring out what the issues with our product are, what they want to see. We're showing them, hey, what do you need and how's that working? We're partnering with key opinion leaders, KOLs, who are part of our initial user acquisition strategy. Basically, these are people who already have a community and maybe people follow their trades or have some active leadership in crypto. And we're bringing them onto our platform and having people trade with them. And we're building up our community through social media, through Discord, Twitter, and Telegram. We launched a month ago. We have, it's actually outdated, it's about 18,000 AUM right now. We have, I want to say, 550 people on our just Discord community, and we are at about 12K in ARR. We launched a month ago. This product version is horrible. I'm surprised anybody gave us money, but somehow they do, which is why we have an inkling that something is working. And our users love us. You can see these are just testimonials. We didn't ask any of these people to say anything. This is what we're building. People like what we're doing. We stumbled onto something that is working. And our goal from here on is basically just to scale up. We are first movers in the market. This is for a number of reasons. Really, this just technologically was not feasible. The data sources in crypto are kind of what I would say the internet was like in like 2006, 2004. I mean, I'm not that old, but maybe you guys can tell me what it was like back then. It's terrible. And that's why we are one of the first movers in the market. There's a lot of people who are trying to build what we're building now. And we have an advantage because we've already launched and have started to make money. We have a bit of a legal moat. We have wonderful lawyers in our team. If you guys are familiar with Dapper Labs, they're one of the biggest unicorns in Canada. They're a crypto unicorn, and we have their lawyer on our team, which is great. We're following the best wallet, so what that means is, unlike a platform like eToro, where you have to have the people sign up to your platform to actually trade with, on the blockchain, the wonderful thing is everything is public, so we can actually copy just the people who we have found have the best returns, and that is what our users want to see. At the moment, we are self-custodial. This will probably be a question where, like, who stores the user's funds? That's just with our beta launch. We will not be custodial in the future. We will have a smart contract, which basically is a decentralized way of holding users' funds and rebalance, and multi-chain. Copy trading with AI. This is a bit of a long slide, but essentially there's a big AI component and how we can actually tailor to the user's preferences, because this whole thing is about simplifying. Oh, time's up. Simplifying process for the user. Bunch of AI stuff. This is our team. We built in crypto before, built in tech, and have raised $250,000. Our goal is to get 10K paid users. We're raising $1 million seed round. It's a bit fast, but yeah, I'll maybe leave the slide up and while I wait for questions. Thank you.
All right, very interesting business that you've stumbled upon, as you mentioned. But no, it's great to see the traction after just a month. Maybe I will give you this slide and ask you about where you've come from and where you're headed.
Absolutely. So I actually, very coincidentally, my team and I met here. There was a hackathon back in October, and we were building a completely different product, which we realized what the product we need to be building is. We were building a no-code trading algorithm platform for like basically the supply side of this. We realized people just want to use stuff. Stuff that's already pre-built, stuff that's easy to understand. We went to Antler Canada. If you guys are familiar, it's an incubator. They're very, very big in Singapore, which is also where we're Got our initial funding from them as well as a crypto angel. So again, 250,000 raised. We are moving to Singapore and Dubai because really that is where our market is. We are a Canadian registered company and intend to stay that way, but are moving to Singapore in mid-August and then Dubai and the rest of the world. You can see what our kind of general timeline is. Oh, I guess this doesn't show where we're moving to, but yeah.
Sure. Do we have any questions in the audience? Yes, Mike.
Yes.
Oh, we got one at the back, and then we'll come to you, Mike.
Sorry, what currencies do you, what cryptos do you trade?
Anything that's on the Ethereum blockchain. So
Ethereum.
yeah, we're expanding to all chains in the future. Ethereum we launched because there's it's one of the biggest blockchains just that exists, and there's nothing really out there that supports a solution like this for it.
So when you select somebody to follow, would you get up and down, or how would you, like, is there any intelligence into the trading?
Yeah, if I may. There's a bunch of protections, basically, that decide like what tokens you can hold. Most of them are surrounded around liquidity because there's a bunch of projects that like are filtered out, so you can't trade anything that has been like listed as a scam, anything that has under about $1 million in trading volume over the last 5 days. But really, so these returns right here that we showed, these are back-tested returns showing not the returns of the person were copying themselves, but what it would have been like if you were copying, rebalancing the way we do on a daily basis with that filtered token allocation. So we don't copy anything, but essentially there's a bunch of safeguards in place, and whatever currencies pass those safeguards, that is what you're allowed to hold.
Do you have a KYC strategy, policy, whatever, for your clients?
No, and we don't need to because we're not the people onboarding users onto crypto. So people already have to own crypto. They do that through a separate, whether that's Coinbase, whatever KYC solutions they use.
So they do the trades themselves? You don't integrate and do the trade on their behalf?
No, we do. So you buy your crypto, you put $100 in, you buy $100 of Ethereum, and then you send it to our smart contract. And our smart contract does everything for you on an automated basis, but you just don't buy the crypto initially through us.
Thank you.
Of course.
Did I hear you say that you're going to hit 2.3 billion in revenue?
No, that's the goal. We're not there yet.
No, but you said you're going to hit that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And when would that be, and how are we going to get there?
We get there by tapping into 11.6 million traders, and we're doing that through a bunch of partnerships. One of our big partnerships that's lined up has 1 million users. They're called Kelp Finance. They're a crypto finance company. We're partnering with them and launching on their platform. And we're getting there through just, again, various partnerships, expanding to various blockchains and different events, and just being in the areas that we need to be. That's not a very specific answer, but a bunch of partnerships, basically.
And when? Next year?
Let me check the slide. I'm also not the CEO, I'm the CQO, but we're getting to 10K paid users by December. I would say by the end of next year is when we would be able to get there.
2.3 billion in 1 year?
By the end of next year, about a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah. Again, we have 1 million in partnership already lined up, so that's 1 million users in the pipeline. That gets us part of the way there. There's a question at the back there, I see. Or for you, sir.
Again, as investors, we like to know what your valuation is. We like to know what your exit strategy is. It sounds too good to be true.
Yes. We are raising at a $10 million valuation. And our exit strategy is really centered around a bunch of exchanges. So Coinbase, Binance, big exchanges, decentralized or centralized exchanges worldwide. We provide a lot of utility for a lot of different blockchains. So whichever blockchain ends up being the biggest trading blockchain, Solana is a big one. Those are our potential acquirers. But there's a lot of players in the market for whom this is a facility. It's difficult to say specifically who would be the acquirer because blockchain is a very early time.
And what are your margins going to be on your revenues?
So those 10K users, that gets us to, 10K users is 2 million in revenue. So this is what we're aiming to get to by the end of the year. Actually, 10K users by the end of the year. From there, it's about building up a lot of partnerships. Basically, to get these partnerships, we need our initial users because you need to have initial trust that the platform works. And we already have our plan to get those. From there, there's a bunch of chains in these other partnerships. So 10K paid users by the end of the year, and then 1 million users by the end of next year.
You didn't answer my question. What is your margin?
Sorry, what, sorry?
You told us what your revenues are, but what are your expenses going to be? What's your margin?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said milestones. Apologies. We have very few expenses because we're a software company. I would say Right now it's about $500 a month in software expenses. There's a bunch of like dev expenses and maintaining like customer support, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of software expenses, it's very, very limited because it's blockchain, it's all decentralized. We cover the gas fees for the user, but that's also very minimal. I would say about $500 a month at like very large scale. Most of the expenses come around software developments and maintaining a customer support system for users.
So you're not paying your technology people?
I'm one of the tech people, so we have just started paying ourselves with the funds that we've raised. We're a team of 3 people. So I didn't have a chance to get into the slide. These are our 3 co-founders, myself, our CEO Anjali, and Soren, our CTO. We are paying ourselves. Part of this is through Shred, with that 250K that we raised right now and the $1 million that we're raising. On top of this, we are enough to build like a very large portion of the tech. We would start bringing on people for customer support and maybe a few more developers as the product reaches more blockchains, more partnerships, which need more integration. But really, and then a few $1,000s in software expenses, those are the major expenses.
Regarding the NFT, and you're using your own smart contracts for trading?
Exactly that. NFT was just like one of the people that we're copying is an NFT artist, but yes, we are using our own smart contract. Or rather, we're upgrading to this right now. So it's completely decentralized, and basically it pools everyone's funds together, trades them proportionate, and holds all the tokens in that smart contract, and just has in an external database whose allocation is whose.
Hey, you talked about how users get onto your platform. Talk about how many users can exit to convert their currency to fiat currency.
So to convert to fiat currency, that is not what we deal with. What we allow our users to do is, so you have your crypto, you buy, say, Ethereum or USDC, US dollar coin, and you invest it into Avo. You can directly close your positions at any time from the smart contract just by clicking close, and it'll execute that for you. To convert back to fiat isn't really the business that we do because we assume that all of our users have already been onboarded onto crypto. In the future, we might try to simplify that on-ramp, but frankly, there's a ton of companies that are doing that, and we don't really want to compete because we want to do one thing really well.
So for us old-time stock investors, can you explain in the big picture how it works? Like, if you want to get into crypto and how it works with your system?
Yeah, no, completely. That's a very fair question. If you've seen like the Nancy Pelosi stock trader, anyway, you have a portfolio. Say your portfolio, sir, and your portfolio is 50% NVIDIA and 50% Microsoft. And we've tested your returns and we see that they work really, really well over the course of the last year. People say, hey, I want to copy you. On the blockchain, all of this information is public. We can see, even if we don't know who you are, we can see what your portfolio is and we can see how it works. Because we have this information, we can say, hey, this person's done really, really well. Take $100 that you have, convert it to crypto, so buy some crypto. Doesn't matter where you buy your crypto, anywhere that you buy your crypto is fine. Send it to our application, basically, our smart contract, which is basically just an application that works with us. Send it there, and it will automatically rebalance your portfolio to match whatever you're doing. And so we rebalance once a day. If the next day you buy 70% Microsoft and 30% NVIDIA, your portfolio, the person who's copying each portfolio will match that portfolio too. And this got really big in equities.
I think there's a lot of questions. I do want to move on to the next presentations though, because we are spending a lot of time on Q&A, which is fantastic. Obviously, Nikita's going to be around, he's got a table here, so do come and ask your questions afterwards. And thank you so much, great job. All right, next up we have Feed Clean Tech. So I'd like to invite Merda up to the stage to tell us more about Feed Clean Tech. There's the clicker.
So my name is Merda KAIHIVE. Involved biodegradable food packaging materials. As we know, the traditional plastics has a lot of problems in terms of pollution, and they can stay in the landfill for more than 400 years. And the solution currently has like recycling and burning the plastics are not actually the solution. And I, as a chemical engineer for 25 years with experience in the industry, plastic industry, I put on a team with scientists and engineers to come up with a solution. And our solution is the heat biopolymer So this material, this is a new formulation material that has the properties of the plastics, the normal plastics, but it is quite different. And this material, we are using nanotechnology and microbiology to make the powders, and then from the powder we make the resin, and by resin we make the packaging film. And when we tested in the UVC lab, it showed a very high degradation rate for our materials. It shows very promising and good results for our film materials. We conducted market studies, market study in Canada, globally, and see that there is a huge potential for this market. And we also identified the competitors that have offer currently in the market materials, and we tested and compared our materials with them, and our materials showed the superiority to the materials in terms of cost, in terms of performance, and also revenue. Our business model is to produce in resin and film and sell it to manufacturers, film manufacturers, or packaging manufacturing industry, and also to the license technology. In 2023, we managed to sign an LOI with KAIHIVE Spain, which is a key player in the food industry. And today we have a good result from the samples that we actually tested in their production line. So in the next 12 months, we are moving toward the commercialization of products for making prototypes for actually for the KAIHIVE Spain. And the go-to-market model includes pricing strategy and branding and contributing to the distribution channels like direct sales, online sales, and partnership with the distributors. And to do this and to complete our projects for the next 12 months for KAIHIVE Spain production, we are looking for $450,000 investment, which we have already secured $150,000 from one investor, and we are seeking for the rest of so we can complete the projects. Our financial projection shows that after 5, we can have an increase in our revenue, and in 5 years, we can reach more than 70 million. So to do this, we actually assembled a team that is a group of scientists from PUC and professional engineers, experience in industry. The team that you are seeing here actually all together we have 135 years of experience. Thank you for listening and
Let's start really quickly with the raise. You're raising $450,000. You've got 158,000 secures. What are the terms of the round? Are you doing a price round? Do you have a valuation set?
yeah, we have a stake agreement with $3 million cap.
$3 million cap on the safe. Do you have? Is that pre-money or post-money? Post-money cap. We like that. And is there a discount? What's the discount? 10%? Okay, so we got some of the details there for the round. That's great. So, any questions in the audience? All right, I'll kick us off here.
One quick question.
Yes.
So this is an additive to regular plastic, or I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Yeah, this is actually the additives. That is, this additive is coming from the microorganism, and we extract them and we make the nanoparticles of them and add to the same plastic matrix. So this is what makes this unique, because in our industry there are customers, for example, could be the same packaging manufacturer. They don't need to change any equipment, any process, anything. They just change the resin and it's coming from us.
And what does it do to the recyclability of the product itself? Can it still be recyclable? Or that means once you add this additive, will it go to the landfill after that? Or what was going to happen there?
Yeah, the material is recyclable because most of actually the material is the same polymer base that could be recycled. And the material also, the properties are very similar, close to the traditional plastics in terms of mechanical properties. We have some samples over there you can see. And it looks like actually normal plastics. But the difference is that it is really accelerated when it goes to the soil and contact with the bacteria. It will decompose very, very fast. Like 400 years, 2-3 years, it can actually decompose. But it's also possible that it can actually accelerate that decomposition with other organic materials, like in digestion, in a few weeks, to accelerate that decomposition, like biogas or something.
Can you speak to the additive? How does it, how do you produce it, and can you scale that? Or
We produce it from some microorganism that is actually right now the population is our trade secret, but the properties of those materials that we extract from those microorganisms, it can be actually used to make the nanoparticle. The nanoparticle goes through the inside the matrix of the polymer, and that makes and stay there for until it goes to the, for example, landfill and contact with bacteria, and that when it activates that environment, it can actually accelerate the decomposition of plastic. Sorry?
scalability of the production that I'm looking for to make it commercially viable?
The plastic, it is quite very scalable because we are adding those additives as it's a very small percentage into the same polymer, so it can be as scalable as.
Actually, I'm asking about the additive itself. So the production of the additive, so you can create a reactor and start producing whatever, like the microbes or whatever you're using to create.
Yeah, it is already
The
actually.
scalability, is it tested, and
Yeah.
how scalable is that?
Many of these material ingredients is already available and is already produced, but not for this industry, for other industries like pharmaceutical. So we don't have problems with actually getting those.
I'd like to steal Harvey's question quickly here, and it's a very important one. What does an exit with a business like this look? Are there any potential acquirers that you're still in conversations with, or have you thought about that exit strategy at all?
Sure, we actually are thinking of, I think, 3 types of corporations can actually acquire our materials or technology. And the first one is the film manufacturers. That what they do is just using our resins to make the film with the same process that they already have. So that could be a very good addition to their products as a compostable or biodegradable. The other ones are the manufacturing or packaging supplies. Everywhere they can actually buy film from us or get the technology license from us. And the third one is the plastic resin companies such as Dow Chemicals or Global Chemicals that we have in Canada. They are producing resin, normal traditional plastics, but this can be another grade of their plastics. I think they can buy us.
All right, we've got time for one more question there. So Peter, I'll give it to you. So we'll have to save other questions for the networking here. Peter, go ahead.
So there are levels of compostability. Some things can be composted in the garden, others need industrial composting. And what residue is left that's not microplastics or others?
Yeah, it is. There is no microplastics happens here because after decomposition, when we tested the UVC, everything goes to the two stage, the gas mostly is the methane and the water and the CO2, and the compost is just a normal compost, because after decomposition, this material change to normal organic materials that can be changed, used as an amendment of the soil to change the ratio between the nitrogen and the C carbon that is important for the soil. It is like a normal compost. Of course, it depends on the type of bacteria that we have in this compost, but this is something that we can control what kind of compost.
All right, thank you so much, Mehrdad. We'll speak to you in networking, so save your questions, chat with Mehrdad afterwards. And we will bring up our last presenter for the evening here. I'd like to introduce Simon of Ocean Waters Solar. And so, Simon, I'll pass it over to you here.
Thanks, Aaron. So we're here today to talk about the biggest single step change in solar in a very long time. Open Waters Design and Manufacturing has built a lighter, stronger, more durable panel than anything else on the market. We're currently in sales revenue with a growing order backlog that unfortunately with our current manufacturing we can't supply. We do have an extensive trade secret IP process, and the machines that we're developing to meet that demand will have a patent on them. We completed a pre-seed round last year. All the R&D is done. We have a product. We have orders, we have customers, we have demand, now we're into scaling. And I needed to add this little bit, you probably can't see from the back, but this is a quote that we got yesterday from a guy who tested solar panels all of his life, fundamentally. And he says, I've never seen anything close in the world of solar to the durability of these panels. So where did this come from? Well, we designed and built a 40-foot carbon fiber all-electric sailing catamaran. And as you can see from the bottom right picture there, it was an amazing sailing catamaran. It just wasn't all electric. The solar that we had didn't function very well at all. We just purchased panels. So given I'm an engineer, I said, well, that's not good enough. We need to solve this problem. So we looked at the individual issues and we realized there was 4 distinct problems. So we set out to solve them, and at the same time we realized everybody else in the industry, in the marine industry anyway, had the same problems. The existing panels, the panels you put on your roof, they're heavy and bulky, they don't look good on your $3 million yacht. And the thin panels that I had and that a lot of other people have, they're very, very easily damaged. And both were very inefficient on space utilization. So Open Waters has designed a composite solar panel that's the highest efficiency. We have maximum space utilization. They're manufactured from composite, so they have composite properties of whatever you want. Immaculate aesthetics, even after our workers stood on them in work boots. And our biggest product difference is our encapsulation method. So this allows us to basically facilitate the electrification of the marine and transportation. So let's get into this. So our beachhead market is marine. It's where we came from. It's where the problem was identified. Really easy for us to enter, really high margins, relatively low volume, great market for us to scale. But where we see this heading, and where a number of other people see this heading, is the transportation sector. We can put 24 kilowatts of solar on a refrigerated trailer, saving 20,000 liters of diesel fuel per year, giving an ROI of somewhere between 3 and 4 years to the end user. So that's game changing in the world of refrigerated cold chain solution. And then there's a whole bunch of other applications within the transportation sector too. Not mentioning other applications that people keep saying, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go do that? Well, we're focusing on this right now because this is where we see the value. And this is our business strategy. Here's where we're heading. We started the marine B2B. We have a series of distributors all over North America. We've entered into the marine OEM sector already. We have various orders for hybrid boats, hybrid yachts, current order for Turkey for 3.2 kilowatts on a beautiful 48-foot hybrid. Then we're going to get into the transportation sector. And what we call this is, we call it the path towards licensing. You can't see at the back there, but we call this the path toward licensing because although in the transportation sector our revenues are a little lower, it's the licensing model that we're going after. And the reason why we're going there is because of this little part here.
even when we're a $66 million revenue company, we're only building enough panels to coat 900 trailers out of 45,000 every year. That's 2% market share. Here's the team that's done it. We've gone from revenue to startup in less than a year. So we have orders. We're currently building 250 watts a day, which in the world of solar is nothing. We need to automate. We need to build our system, our automation equipment. We need capital equipment, and we need to protect our IP. We already have $1.5 million of both federal and provincial grants approved. We have some loans pre-approved, and today we're looking for $2.1 million, an $8 million pre-evaluation. Some of it right away for the capital, and some of it for scaling of the business. Here's where we're heading with our revenue. Again, in 2028, when we're looking to get into scaling, we're only at 2% market share. So we're looking at a fairly reasonable return on investment for the investor. So to summarize, we've got novel technology, market opportunity, protected IP, independent verified durability, and a clear path to revenue and ROI for the investors. And obviously, we're in BC, so we're an eligible business corporation. Any questions?
Thank you for that. Yes, open it up for any questions in the audience here. I see one here. All right.
Sorry, I want to understand, what is your product exactly? Do you produce the panels or?
Yeah, so we actually manufacture this panel. So this is built in Canada, in Prince George. This is our sample panel. The biggest panels we build are 4 foot by 8 foot. We buy the cells directly from the manufacturer, but it's our encapsulation technology that we've developed. That's what our IP is. That's what our business model is.
So what differentiates you is the encapsulation.
For sure.
Tell us a little bit about what you have at the back here, and so we've talked about the manufacturing, where you started, but yeah, tell us a little bit more about what you've got here.
Yes, we've got some sample panels there. We did start in the marine sector. That is our beachhead market, but again, it's the transportation sector where we're heading. We don't know anything about the transportation sector. I'm an oil and gas engineer, so we're currently working with professionals in the transportation sector. We're starting to get some excited about it. It's where we're heading, but we're focused probably in the next year on the marine sector because we already have traction, we already have sales, and I sort of call it, we've done about 1% marketing effort right now, and we have our order books full.
I saw you blowing this thing up. I'm just curious. Can you tell us what the actual thing is, what it's used for?
Sorry, that is actually floating solar. So we were at a boat show, and somebody said to us, can we put these panels on sort of float behind the boat? And I said, well, that's a really good idea. And then at the same boat show, we mentioned it to a few other people, and they said, that's a really good idea. So within 2 weeks, we produced that and got it on the water. And that's going to be a big product of ours. It simplifies putting solar on boats. Boats, typically, any sailors in here, your boat probably moves 1%. It spends another 99% either at a dock or at an anchorage or mooring. So when you're at mooring or anchorage, you throw it out back, it produces power for you. When you're on the dock, you put it on the foredeck, you lash it down, it produces power for you. That 1% of the time when you're sailing, you lash it down, or you put it away. And it's a simple solar solution to install, which is going to be very versatile.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. What's the weight bearing on that?
A car. I can jump on this all day. Every day we can ride on it. An application is actually to put over the top of manhole covers, and
Then I have a question with regards to your manufacturing. You're manufacturing right now, so you buy the solar cell from immediately China?
No, the Philippines.
The Philippines, and then you bring that in and you assemble with your IP, which is your encapsulation. That encapsulation is done here in Canada?
That's correct, in Prince George.
Okay, and so then what you're wanting to license out is the encapsulation process?
That's correct, yeah. Because we can encapsulate multiple different types of cells. Currently, we buy the best cell on the market because it's the best encapsulation technology on the market, but we can encapsulate other types of cells as well.
Very cool. And the last question is, so you mentioned that you have a distributor and then you're looking at maybe doing the licensing. Something like this, like the floating guy, is something that maybe Canadian Tire or something like that. Is that something that is in your roadmap?
Probably not that consumer-based. Marine stores for sure. We have a bit of a marketing strategy plan for that product. That's a very specific product. It's the same technology, it's just how we package it, right? So this same technology can be placed
on the floor of manhole covers on the road, it can be placed on the roof of a boat, it can be floated behind a boat, it can be placed on a 53-foot refrigerated trailer.
Any other questions? All right, so saving them all for networking, unless Peter, you had a final one there?
So you talk about your encapsulation. Could you just describe a little bit without giving away the farm, what that is and what the barriers are to others who might try to replicate what we're doing?
That's a good question, and this is where I've got to be careful with our IP because it is a trade secret. We've been described by Professor Anoush at the University of Composites Knowledge Network at UBC. He's like, this is aerospace grade composites that you've got here. So very, very advanced composites in order to produce a layer of fiberglass in front of the cells that's optically incredibly clear. I have a sample there which has a little bit of a marking on it. We found about 350 ways how not to build a composite solar panel over about 6 months. We had vapor pockets in it, we had air pockets in it, and although they were similar to sort of performance, they just didn't look good. And we got to make it look good, right? So these now macular aesthetics, and it's the process that we have to encapsulate the cells. Making clear composites is quite easy. Making clear composites with a highly permeable solar cell in the middle of it, that's the challenge.
And I did forget a community announcement, and it is part of our partnership here with BCIT and the Enactus program. So if Ethan is around, I'd like to give you an opportunity to say a few words here. And I'm going to leave this slide up just if you do have feedback or want to express interest in any of the companies that presented today. Ethan, over to you.
Thank you, Aaron. I do got to start off and say, like, me and Aaron have been talking in a while, and this partnership has been in the works, and it is incredible to see that we're in this space. We're all here together. It's been a long time coming, and yeah, honestly, just warms my heart. But yeah, I'm from Enactus, BCIT. So we're an entrepreneurship organization full of students. What we do is we create small business ventures and educational initiatives for students that make an impact in our community. One of these initiatives that we're doing is a high school case competition we run every year. We bring 50 to 60 students from the Burnaby School District together, and we partner with a business in the community to create a case study. In the past, those businesses have been everything from White Spot to the Peony to the aquarium. Last year, we had CPABC come in for a little more of a financial accounting focus. So this year, in November, we're looking for partners who want to connect with university and high school students and be part and be the face of this case competition. It's a great opportunity to build your brand awareness within the younger demographics, and also to support young entrepreneurship in your community. If you're interested in partnering in other ways or building your awareness within Enactus outside of the case competition, there's lots of opportunities to do so as well. I'm going to leave it at that because there's food. I know you guys are hungry, so thank you very much.
It's amazing to be here. It has been in the works for a while, so yeah, it feels great. Lastly, just want to say a few things. Just a reminder of our upcoming events. Reminder that the NBBC Demo Day is coming up on September 4th. Speak to Mike about that if you're interested. Our pitch event will be on the 11th, but the SUV previews will still be on the 5th in September. Remember, next month we are taking a break, so enjoy the sun and the beautiful weather that we have in Vancouver. So that event in September is actually going to be here at the BCIT Tech Collider as well. So yeah, we're going to be in this amazing space with amazing technology, and we'll be listening to some great companies. Last, we do have our summer social next week. If you haven't signed up, tickets are almost out, so get those while they still last. Come and chat with me if you haven't already got a ticket. And it's going to be an amazing event. Like I said, we've got great weather forecasted. It's on the beautiful rooftop. It's going to be amazing. Thank you. Let's grab some food, have some drinks, and thank you all for coming tonight.